Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Up Your Alley. This week, we've got two great recommendations. Jake recommended for me the new stand-up comedy special by legendary comedian Dave Attell, Hot Cross Buns, available to stream now on Netflix. And, oh boy, Jacob, it's the best time of year. Are you so excited for this?
I didn't know I was allowed to talk during your introduction thing.
If I ask you a question, you're allowed to respond to it.
Yes.
Yes. It is the first week of All Affleck April. Everyone's so excited. We do this every year, or we did at least last year.
You used to have a button of a crowd cheering. Now it's
Oh,
gone.
shit, I do. Hold on. Look at that. It's one of my 3 buttons. Anyway, so yeah, it's the first week of All Affleck April where I send Jake 4 recommendations starring the great Ben Affleck. This week, the 2023 Ben Affleck directed film Air. Jake, you ready to get going?
Of course.
All right, let's play the riff. It's the best time of the year. I'm so excited for this month with Jake. I can't even begin to tell you.
You only chose April to do it just because of the alliteration of Affleck and April?
I'm going to say that's 95% of it. The other 5%. You remember, we started this podcast. Oh, welcome to Up Your Alley, everybody. My name's Taylor Egan. With me, as always, is my best friend, Jake Baggett. How are you doing, Jake?
Hey, buddy.
So it's a show where we recommend things. We've been best friends for almost 20 years now. And... yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, about 20 years.
Yeah.
Probably so.
Thought so.
So if you've ever wanted to recommend something to your friend and they say, oh, yeah, let's check that out, this is the show where you can actually force your friend to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been doing for the past 68 episodes now.
Damn.
And starting last April, after we had gotten our feet wet a little bit in this podcasting world, I decided to spend a whole month dedicated to making Jake like Ben Affleck, my favorite actor on the planet, completely unironically. And I'll say this, one of my favorite directors on the planet.
Yeah, of course.
And he's in my top 3 Batmen on the planet, which says a lot.
That's just a weird thing to say.
I mean, how many Batmen you got? Give me 2 Batmen better than Ben Affleck's Batman.
Adam West.
All right, that's probably one.
Yeah. And then...
exactly. Kevin Conroy
sure.
would be the obvious one.
pretty sure Mark Hamill fought one.
Yeah, Kevin Conroy.
Bat Dog. That dog that played Bat Dog in Super Pets. Who was that? Kevin Hart?
Was it? I don't know. Maybe. Regardless, it doesn't matter. So, this week we are going to be talking about Dave Attell, his new stand-up comedy special on Netflix, and also Ben Affleck's film Air, like we talked about previously. But first, we got a little things to get into.
Hi.
Jake, you went and saw the new Ghostbusters.
I went and saw Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire.
So, did you see the previous Paul Rudd one?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Afterlife.
Did you see the Lady Ghostbusters with Kristen Wiig
Yes,
and
I
Melissa
did.
McCarthy? All right.
I did indeed.
What's your relationship with Ghostbusters?
I love Ghostbusters 1 and 2.
Bustin' makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen Ghostbusters 1 a whole bunch.
Yeah.
And we had, Ecto Cooler in the house, proton packs.
I mean, you're
Stay
just
Puft
talking about...
Marshmallow Men, stuffed animals. We
I didn't have those.
A bunch of the real Ghostbusters. Toys.
Yeah, I had
where you
the-
squeeze their legs and they would scream. They would open
Ooh.
their mouth real big, go, ah.
I didn't have that. I had some that were...
We had a Slimer hand puppet that you could play with.
That's
one
fun.
of those things. It was made out of that really dense rubber that collected your sweat really well, so it stank terribly. It was great. All this stuff. We had a PKE meter. Yeah, we had the ghost trap device. The name escapes me right now. And... the thing that they throw on the floor.
Yeah, the little thing that pops up like a
It even
shoebox.
had a little button that
you
you
stomp
stomped on it with your foot, and
Nice.
it would pop open.
I think I might have had that too.
Yeah, man. So
I know we had... One of my earliest memories was in Florida in the Halloween. My brother got a Ghostbusters costume, and I didn't get a Ghostbusters costume because I was a little brother, so I had to dress up as a ghost.
perfect.
Yeah. I mean,
Sheet?
You dress up as the
Was it
bad
sheet
guy.
with 2 eye holes?
It was a sheet with 2 eye holes. It was a
boy.
classic Charlie Brown ghost
Oh,
costume.
man.
But I had the real Ghostbusters figures too. I remember specifically, and this could just be, my brain playing tricks on me again. But I had the figures that if you got them, it was, remember in the 90s when things would change color?
Yeah.
And
You
if you
put
got-
them in cold water.
Right. They would turn green like they just got slimed.
I think that's a possibility.
Yeah, I
don't
feel like we
recall,
had this. The
but-
real Ghostbusters animated show. That was like on the block with like Beetlejuice and other licensed.
It was called The Real Ghostbusters.
Yeah. It's pretty solid though. So what'd you think of New Ghostbusters?
It was Good.
Really?
It wasn't
Just good?
It was good. I mean, if we're going in to expect like the iconic and powerful first Ghostbusters,
Right.
You're not
Which
gonna
is
get
still
that.
the best Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Having not seen the new one, I would say.
But it was a fun movie. It had some laugh out loud moments for me.
Yeah.
I hate the Stay Puft Marshmallow Men being tiny, like little minions.
Is that what they're trying to do? Because I saw them in the trailer.
Everybody's trying to do cute minions things.
You think it's going to be like
It's
everyone's...
marketable, and it makes the kids go, yippee, mommy, I want that, mommy. But it just drives me up the wall.
Do you think
seeing that?
people's aunts are going to start posting memes with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Men that are saying weird alt-right things
I
at the
would
same
be
time?
all 100% behind that.
Yeah.
If I saw that stuff.
Just a bunch of Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and it says, thanks, Obama, next to it. You're
That'd be some
all
good
right.
stuff.
Makes perfect sense.
But you can tell that Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson were having a great time.
Uh-huh.
You can tell that Bill Murray was there too. And
Bill Murray's just been there for a while now.
yeah,
And I like him a lot.
I love him. It wasn't like when he was there, it was like, oh, come on, bring it. It was like, that's funny.
He's showing up.
Yeah, he's just showing up.
Well-
Dan Aykroyd's like a character in this. Ernie Hudson is like a supporting character. Bill Murray is there for probably 2 minutes.
Huh.
Yeah.
So he's kind of doing the same thing he was in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, also with Paul Rudd.
Yes.
Yeah. He just shows up and kind
Paul
of...
Rudd just kind of doesn't fit for me in this type of a movie.
Yeah.
And Finn Wolfhard's just kind of there and is very funny. Like you could just see
Is he
him in
really?
the frame every once in a while.
Good for him.
But Kumail Nanjiani's great in it.
And it has Patton Oswalt and also James Acaster as well, right?
Yeah, James Acaster not played to his strengths, I would say.
Really?
He seems kind of very serious.
He's a very
in
funny
it.
man.
Yes, he is a very funny man.
Yeah.
But he's good. It was a good movie.
All right.
I'm happy to see it.
If I had recommended that to you, what would that be? Like 2?
2.
Solid 2?
It's a fine 2.
But not a... You rush out and see it. Ghostbusters is back. Hey,
No,
everybody.
No. What I was thinking about when I was watching it is the first Ghostbusters has a lot of iconic lines just because it was how it was said, and like they're just not trying to reproduce that type of stuff anymore. Like we came, we saw, we kicked its ass,
Right.
Or go get her, Ray, or cats and dogs living together,
Yeah.
mass hysteria.
But I mean,
Like,
that was
not just-
every Bill Murray movie for a stretch was just everything out of his
also-
mouth was super quotable.
Yeah, light is green, trap is clean.
Yeah.
You just had all these. If there's a steady paycheck involved, I'll believe anything you say.
Jesus, do you have all of Ghostbusters memorized?
These things, yeah, I love this movie very much.
Fair enough.
These things are just like stuck in my brain because they were very fun things to say.
Yeah.
There's just Ray Venkman going, "It can't be." It can't be when he gets the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man coming down.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on, Ray? It can't be.
Are you just recapping Ghostbusters 1
Yeah,
now?
so sit down.
There it is.
We
All
open
April-
at a college, and in the back are boy Peter Venkman behind the desk, 2 college students.
All right, I'm putting the kibosh on this right now. That's what you should do. I'll do All Affleck April, and you just recommend a Ghostbusters movie. That you
And
can
I just keep
exactly
first 15 minutes.
just
of
a one-man
Ghostbusters.
show of every Ghostbusters. Well, that's good, man. It's one of those franchises where I don't know who it's for because like my kid has zero interest in Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And I guess it's for people our age to be like, hey, is your kid into
The
Ghostbusters
stuff
now?
that was playing to me, like the winks and nods,
Yeah.
were just kind of like, okay. Like, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I watch too many movies, so it's definitely not for me.
That's true. We both
But-
watch too many movies. Probably.
Yeah, but I brought my nephew with me, and he loved it. He walked out being like, "I'm so happy I went and saw that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
you back into Ghostbusters now? It's one of those things where I don't know if I would go back and show him the original one because the original one, if you watch it, like it was one of those movies. It was rated PG before they had really a PG-13, and it definitely would have been a PG-13 movie.
I mean, I'm fine with
I mean,
it.
Dan Aykroyd gets fellatio from a ghost
Yeah.
in the movie.
I mean, kids should learn that.
That ghosts and fellatio are something that should be in a PG film.
Yes.
And
So-
also, the main thing they were upset about the MPAA when they re-released Ghostbusters was it's something with guidelines. The heroes can't smoke.
yeah,
The bad guys are allowed to smoke
Yeah.
because that shows that smoking's
but
bad.
Ray smokes.
Everyone smokes throughout that whole movie. Like Ray and Winston are in the car smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, Winston might smoke.
When they're in the car together talking.
But
That great
Ray
scene in the
smokes.
first one with Ray and Winston sitting in the car.
Yeah, talking about
But-
the end of days.
Yeah, they did the 20th anniversary re-release whenever, and that was like a big thing. They were like, oh, it was rated PG then, but it's PG-13 now because it's the whole thing. Like they had to give
don't
in
know.
E.T. Spielberg went back and turned the guns into walkie-talkies.
No.
The 80s were fun times.
I mean, the kids will be okay.
Yeah, they're going to be
They're going
fine.
to walk away. They see worse things at school.
That's
Am I
true.
turning into that guy?
You are.
I'm becoming that old man?
I got to tell you, I'm all for it.
That's crazy.
I think it's great. But, well, yeah, I'll check that out when it comes to streaming. I'm not going to go
I'll
see
say
it in theaters.
take the kid, I would say.
She has zero interest. I asked her.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'd say watch it with the kid.
She has zero interest in anything I want to do. It's fun. It's a fun time now. But speaking of things we do have time for, Jake and I have been playing a lot of what is, I will say it right now, was not on my radar at the beginning of the year. It is, I guess we're a quarter of the way through the year. Front runner for game of the year for me right now is Helldivers 2.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the upcoming schedule for games. I don't know if there's anything I'm super excited about that
What's
might
going to topple it for
overtake it
Yeah.
because god damn it, I am having fun with this game.
Yeah.
And it's something I texted you a while ago, and it's just amazing how it's the first live service game that I've been, and I wasn't day one with it, but I was like first 2 weeks got into Helldivers.
Yeah.
And it's the first live service game that I've really followed, playing, a couple times a week. And the way that the developers and the game makers and the game runners, because there is this shadow leader named Joel who's running the game, which is, it's the company, but it's good marketing.
Yeah,
that
sure.
it's one dude who's the game master. And the way they're doing it is just top notch. Just rollout of new things, new enemy types. Like I went in and I was playing.
It's fun where I saw on Twitter there were people posting pictures of the new flying bugs.
Yep.
And
flying bugs and flying robots.
Helldivers was responding. It was like that's
propaganda.
Preposterous. That's
Yeah.
not true. What they're saying is just misleading.
Right. And if they keep this,
that's fun. That's funny.
if they keep this going for a good amount of time, and I said it before to you, and I think I said it on the show too. If this was the first live service game where they're like, "Hey, it's $10 a month," I'll pay it. Like I don't want to put that out there because I don't want people to get the wrong message.
No.
But if you make a game, it only
I
costs.
feel you on that. My problem is yeah, you know what you're getting into for like $10 a month or whatever, like something like that. But I want games to stay, accessible.
Well, I'd love for them
forever.
to stay $40 because I
Yeah.
will say this: there are $70 games that I haven't got as much enjoyment out of this $40 game.
Yeah.
And then there are games that, like, I haven't played the new South Park game. It got pretty bad reviews, which bums me out because I love the first two South Park games.
Yeah.
But it's also only a $30 game. So I
Yeah.
might pick it up. I'm sure it'll be down on PlayStation at some point for $20, and I'll pick it up and play it.
There you go.
But with this game, the way they're doing it, I think it's so good, and the microtransactions in it are small enough to where there's a new battle pass or whatever they call it.
It's like that.
Their
yeah.
battle pass comes out April 11th. They have a new one. A trailer came out for it today that we're recording this, and I already have enough in-game currency to buy it.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't need to spend any more money. If it's another 1,000 super credits or whatever, like the first two were, I've been playing the game enough, and I have it. And they just uploaded the level cap from 50 to 150, and it's retroactive for all the players that were I'm not level 50, but all the players past it got retroactively things. So what, in your experience, is like good versions of this, and when has it gone really bad? Because you've done online gaming a lot more than I have.
I really don't do online gaming that much. My friends do it a lot. And, like, my friends love Final Fantasy 14. And
Is that
game,
online?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's the online one.
I've never played a Final Fantasy game all the way through.
There's some really good ones in there. I might give you a rec one day.
I don't have 48 hours to play a video game.
You'd be surprised, honestly.
Yeah.
It's well, getting off track.
Yes, we always do.
Like, I can see the fun in it, but the support for it and like constantly balancing it out so that things are like the thing that Helldivers does really well is they see like, oh, people aren't using like the sniper rifle at all, so let's kind of change the sniper rifle a little bit, see if we can get people to do it.
They upped the
Or
damage
people
on
are-
it
people are relying on this shotgun too much, so let's kind of bring it back a little bit. Oh, we brought it back a little too much. Let's bring it up a little bit more. It's the fine-tuning that's okay. I'm cool with. But it's the value of it kind of can get out of the hand, you know? Because if you're paying $10 a month, it becomes a $120 game.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you want to pay that, that's great. But the other part of it is, like, if they can't support this game anymore, the game's gone. Right. You know? And that part is what breaks my heart.
But I feel like I do. There's no way they can keep up with the same pace. I mean, it's been out for 2 months, and they've already had noob types brought in, and the lore of it's constantly growing. And I see where they're going to go because I know enough about the first game, having not played it, but just being on like the subreddit and stuff like that, that there are other factions that are going to come in.
Yeah.
But I think if they kept it up for this pace for a year, it would be worth $120.
Yeah, but and I would. Like, I'm cool with that.
It's worth the same amount as Paramount Plus.
I just don't want it to die. Right. I want to be able to play it again if I wanted to 10 years down the line. You know, if another game comes out that's like it, and I'm trying to tell people, like, Helldivers 2 was actually really good.
Right.
And, like, all I have is videos to show them, and it's like, it's not really the same.
Yeah.
You know, that stuff is what breaks my heart about online games like this. I don't mind the value of this one, like $40 up front, and then you're just playing a really fun game.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But online service games scare me just because I'm a big proponent of archival. Losing art.
Yeah,
they said
your physical copy, Jake. You love a physical copy.
Well, they said something like 70% of games are already gone in abandonware.
Yeah.
Like, there's no company's taking care of their old catalog anymore, so they're just kind of lost. Now, it's like it's in legal limbo or something like that, and there's no like legitimate way to play these games, you know, unless somebody has a copy that they can download and you can take from them. But then that becomes an ethical dilemma for some people, and it shouldn't be that way. You know?
Yeah. Did you see a streamer that we both follow, Grand Pooh Bear? He had a video about Nintendo does Nintendo hate its players? Mm-hmm. Did you watch that?
No.
So there's a Switch emulator called Yuzu.
Yes. I remember.
A lot of people were making good Switch mods, and a lot of the online players were doing things because there's a way to make like Mario Odyssey multiplayer, like multiplayer simultaneous, and same thing with like Breath of the Wild. And
cool.
Eventually, Nintendo shut it down, the emulator program, because these people that were running the emulator, to be fair, they had a Patreon, so they were trying to make money off of Nintendo's IP. But there is, I forget the name of the court case. Everyone should go check out Grand Pooh Bear's channel, and he talks about this in greater depth. There was a court case that basically says that, you know, it's fair. It's in the mindset of fair use to use emulators for games if you're just using it to keep it for yourself. Like, because you already bought that copy, so you're...
I can see that, too. Yeah. But it's also... I mean, there's just a bunch of illegality that I could talk about. Because, like, if I could copy a sandwich and give it to you, or if I just copied a sandwich and you stole it...
Right.
Like, did you actually steal something of value from me when I could make another copy of it?
Right.
You know? So it's kind of hard from that... From my perspective, that's the way I see it.
Right.
Is where it's like, it's kind of my thing. You know, I did give you money for it, and I can kind of do whatever the hell I want with it.
Exactly.
It's my fucking thing.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to run a business off of it,
that's different.
It's kind of starts to be a little bit, kind of like bullshit. But like
it's sketchy.
The other thing was for the past last year, the top 60% of games that have been played this year or last year were 6 years old or older.
Really?
Yeah, because of live service games.
I'm assuming that's like your Fortnite, your Minecraft.
Exactly.
That's most of them.
Yeah, so they're just... Because now that's what they're putting into
5,
it, and that's not something that I really want.
And sometimes you have games that just die online. Like my favorite game, Red Dead Redemption 2. It just died online. It got no support.
Yeah. And they just killed it?
Well, I mean, they just didn't do anything new. Have you ever played online Red Dead Redemption 2?
When it started, I tried it, and I was like, this isn't for me.
And now it's just a whole bunch of people like sitting around doing nothing in online forums complaining about how they didn't do anything for it. And there's kind of the begrudging thing between Red Dead players and Grand Theft Auto players, which I think is hysterical. But
wild.
It's good.
Online services is just really weird to me where I can see the value in it, but I can also see, I mean, it kind of scares me a little bit.
So do you think the model might be if a game like Diablo 4 that we played, we were talking about it a little bit before we got started, had a big, like hit when it first came out, and then it kept saying, "Oh, we're going to have more DLC and stuff like that.
They're going to come out in seasons."
The playing went down, massively. I'm sure there's still a lot of people that
apparently they really messed up on the first season.
It wasn't great.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about it. I didn't play it. Yeah.
So do you think it would be better to release a live service game and try to get $10 a month for a year and then kind of let it die? Or it said, give me $70 for a game that's good and stands alone by itself.
Give me the tools or opportunity to keep it alive, like on its own separate server that I run or something.
Okay.
So that it's just alive and I can still play it.
Right.
If I put so much money into like a fucking phone game, Monopoly Go, and I have so much money, I have $120, and then tomorrow they're just like, the servers are dead. We can't.
Is Monopoly
we don't
Go
do
a thing you can spend real money on?
I don't know. I just
Monopoly money is just the definition of fake money. That's what you call fake money. You say it's Monopoly money. People spending real money on a Monopoly game?
I bet you can. I don't know.
I got FanDuel. They could be a sponsor.
But if you put money into it, I want to be able to still play it. So if I could put it on a server that's not run by the company, that would be fine for me too.
And I would be completely cool with Helldivers as well.
If they just want to, if Helldivers 2 just wanted to say, we're done, we don't want to do anything else to this game, we put all the effort that we want to.
Right. Here are all the worlds. Feel free to play with your buddies, whatever you want to do.
Here's how you can run a server off of your own computer or build your own server yourself so that you can play with your friends.
Right.
That sounds fine by me.
Which I think they'll do, because I think they are good. And I will say this, also a great community. Jake and I were playing, and if you guys want to play online, shoot us an email. We'll send you our logins, and we'll play with anybody. But we were playing with a guy, his name was like...
Fat Pancake.
MC Fat Pancake or something like that. If he's out there, god damn it, this guy's great. He had one of the best accents. He sounded like a goddamn Kennedy. And he was a delight.
Thick Boston accent.
He is a delight to play with.
Wonderful guy.
I could listen to that man say, shoot you with the laser any day of the week.
When somebody's laughing at me and Taylor, that is just like catnip to us.
Yes.
And he was cackling the whole time while me and Taylor were yelling at each other and stuff. He had great call outs. He was a really good player. And then he was like, I gotta go, guys. He was like, but send me a friend request because I fucking love playing with you, dude. I was like, dude, yeah, hell yeah, dude. We're gonna play with you again.
And a fourth guy we played with who didn't say shit the whole time, but he held his own too.
Another great guy right there.
God, I love this community. All right, so let's get in. I think that's all I want to talk about. I'll talk about the other thing next week. We're already 22 minutes in. Okay. So let's get started on today's recommendations. We're going to start with my recommendation first, because I want to talk about Dave Attell at the end, and I want to get All Affleck April officially started. So, Jake, my recommendation for you was a 2023 film.
It's like Christmas for you.
You know what? I do love it. I celebrate it all. I need a All Affleck April song like Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas."
That's true.
Someone, if we had some talented fans that could do that, that would be the most amazing thing in the world. So this film was directed by Ben Affleck, starring Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Viola Davis, Jason Bateman, Chris Tucker, Damon Wayans is in it as well for a brief minute, and this is all about in 1984, Nike was going on. Matt Damon plays Rob Strasser. He was a marketing VP, and Ben Affleck plays Phil Knight, the CEO and founder of Nike. And they're about not great in basketball. Nike is not doing well in the basketball scene.
Yeah,
they're getting
running
dominated.
Shoes.
They're getting dominated by Converse and Adidas, and they need to find the next big thing to make it work. And they're decided on Michael Jackson. I mean, it's one of the...
Michael Jordan.
Fuck, I messed it up. Sorry. Michael Jordan. They did not decide on Michael Jackson.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do an impression. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Actually,
it's not going to happen.
We did get a comment on one of our YouTube things that said Jake's impressions should be made into a compilation for episode 100, which we will not do.
Good.
That's a lot of editing on my part. And I'd have to go back and listen to like a lot of hours of this to get you little snippets of doing an Italian accent or whatever. But regardless, it's Michael Jordan. It's a story of Air Jordan. Everyone knows the shoe. It's incredibly popular.
Probably one of the most iconic shoes next to the Converse.
And it's one of the most iconic just logos ever. So the reason I sent this Jake's way is one, All Affleck April, another Ben Affleck directed film. I think, let me do the math in my head. Yes, this is the only Ben Affleck directed film of All Affleck April.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gave you one, or no, I gave you two last week.
Yeah.
Or last year. I gave you Argo and Gone Baby Gone.
Yeah.
So this is
just one director.
one directed by Ben Affleck. It's a great business movie. I wanted to give it to you because, one, I think it's a business movie that doesn't take itself too seriously. Like, we're doing something monumentally important. That was kind of my thing about some of these things like Tetris and other business movies like that, where they're putting too much emphasis on the importance of their product.
Yeah.
This is more of a down-to-earth story. It's a couple guys, and they're like, we have to find a way to make this work. So I feel like it was a more personal story, even though Michael Jordan's not in the movie.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he's there, but he's not like a character. You're not talking to him.
So weird.
And I think it's a good...
You just see the back of his head. They're like, how you doing, Michael Jordan? You need some water? He's just like, oh, and you just see him wave. You're like,
okay. So, and I like that because I think even though it's about one of the biggest brands, one of the most iconic products ever made, I would say the Air Jordan's up there with BlackBerry or Tetris or any of these things they've made movies about. But I think it's a lot more of a personal story that's not about guys trying to, change the world. They're trying to just get by. It's pretty much like, we have to make this work or I'm going to get fucking fired. Or I can't spend time with my kid because I have to be here doing this shit. And I really thought that personal touch of it would be better for you.
Yeah.
Because I know you like a little personal, heartfelt, good story where everything kind of works out for people at the end. And I just love this movie. So, Jake, what did you think of Air?
So, it's so nice to see Chris Tucker again.
Chris Tucker's great.
I loved him.
Yeah.
It was so great.
So Chris Tucker plays Howard White, who was a former basketball player, and now he works as Nike. He's it's like athlete relations is his thing. He's supposed to be there to glad hand all the athletes that come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, man, like, Jason Bateman is so good in this.
It's top shelf
and
Bateman.
Matt Damon is so great.
Top shelf Bateman.
And Viola Davis is great. Ben Affleck is great.
Yeah.
This movie is so boring.
What?
This movie is boring.
How is it boring? Because it's about a shoe?
Because it's about basketball and a shoe.
It's not about basketball, really.
Oh, man.
It's about the shoe.
If you're interested in basketball, you might be. If you're interested in shoes, you might be. The reason BlackBerry means so much to me is, one, it was...
You're a big dork?
It was a tragedy.
Yes.
And so it was nice to see a company shown in that light.
Yeah.
And... two, where was I going with this?
Canada?
It was in Canada. So I knew there was a Tim Hortons somewhere. And I was happy.
They love some Timmies.
No, but it was also about technology. And that's something that I have a little more of an interest in. So
that's fair.
When there was stuff about technology and just like when they're like, we're going to put the BlackBerry with the click. Or whatever. That's right. I have a Jay Birchall accent.
Should we flag this in the recording?
Yeah, we should start flagging them.
Yeah.
It will have the click. It will have the BlackBerry click. I remember that phone. I remember that commercial.
Yeah, so
and I was like, that's very funny that they're doing that. And this one, I would say, if you were interested in business...
Yeah.
And or shoes, you'd be so into this movie because it's so well made.
Yes.
But I was just not interested in any of this stuff. I was interested in Michael Jordan.
And
I also like that this is a story around the main guy.
Right.
This feels like a gigantic puzzle piece is missing.
It's
and
like
I get it because they have a whole conversation in there. It was like, Michael Jackson's going to be the big... Michael Jackson, I did it!
You did the same thing.
I did it!
No, it wasn't just me.
No!
Yes!
Michael Jordan is going to be a big star, but we are stars as well. White people behind the scenes. It was us that was smart enough to find an athlete that's great.
See, I didn't take it that way. I took it as really just like, they had to make this work. And they go to Viola Davis. Viola Davis playing Michael Jordan's mom, Dolores.
Yeah.
She's
wonderful. Yeah.
She's great in anything she
Chris
does.
Tucker still showed, but it's just like, it's like seeing your kid on sage.
Just like, oh, look at him go.
You're like, yes!
But
it's about time he shows up.
So at the end of the movie, when Dolores is talking to Matt Damon's character, Sonny Vaccaro, basically saying that we want Michael to sign with you guys. But she says we have to get a percentage of the shoe.
That's a wonderful thing.
And
honestly,
it's just like it's one of those things that I took for granted because by the time I knew about basketball shoes and stuff like that, obviously Air Jordan was.
I'm saying right now, the shoes that I wear, other than my Crocs, I wear Air Jordans.
Yeah.
Or I wear Converse. You know, but it's mostly been Airs ever since I was a kid.
Yeah.
They're the coolest looking shoe to me.
Yeah.
They're the comfortablest shoe.
When we did that golf tournament, you were rocking some fresh Nikes.
I did.
Yeah.
I brought out my new Airs that I just bought.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I get money and I need new shoes, I usually get a Nike Airs.
So this was boring to you, and you like. I don't own a.
I just don't.
I don't own a single pair of Nikes. I'm a New Balance.
That's true. Yes, you do like your New Balance shoes.
Well, because I've got flat feet, and I'm a dad, so yeah, I like New Balance. And I got my Doc Martens, and I have my UFOs. Shout out to UFOs. If you don't know about UFOs,
UFOs, unidentified flying
UFOs. They're. I would just so comedian that we talked about briefly last week, Stavros Halkias. He's a big guy. He's a rotund man.
Yeah,
not unlike myself. And he said on one of his podcasts, "You got to get these shoes, UFOs. They're the best fat guy shoe."
Okay.
And I was just like, check. Let me order a pair of those. And my God.
Would you watch a movie called UFOs?
I would 100% watch a movie called UFOs, which is just a bunch of old guys like, how can we walk on yoga mats without having to do yoga? And it's just those shoes. Side note and side plug for UFOs if they want to be a sponsor. So, but the way that it wraps up the movie where they have the white guys behind the scenes, like you said it, is... they're like, all right, we've got this wrapped up, and then Dolores Jordan's the one that's just like, no, he's not like everybody else. You've said that yourself, and it's just one of those things that Michael Jordan set the tone because by the time I was knowledgeable, like growing up in Florida, it was right when Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway and them were all in the Orlando Magic was big. Horace Grant was down there, but everyone had their own shoe. Like you can get Penny Hardaway had a shoe. He had like his own little commercial with like, you remember Chris Rock was a puppet and he was Lil Penny?
No.
There's a whole thing. Might have just
maybe that was just in Florida. Yeah.
No, it had Chris Rock in it. Like it was a whole thing.
I mean, you could put Chris Rock come down here and make a commercial.
Regardless, I didn't know that Michael Jordan like started that. Like if you're going to use my name and you're going to make money off my name, I'm going to get a cut of that.
Yeah.
One of the smartest business decisions in the history of ever for
great precedent.
Right.
Honestly.
And so Phil Knight, played by Ben Affleck, played great by Ben Affleck in this. He's so aloof.
Honestly, fantastic.
He
yes.
does such a great of like
the dynamic between him and Matt Damon is still fantastic.
Keep that enthusiasm all month. Spoilers. So, and there's the way that Phil Knight's played is when there's a great scene, and this is my favorite Affleck scene. In All Affleck April, I'll talk about my favorite Affleck parts of every one of these movies. Because Affleck's not the star of this movie. He directed it, but he's not the star of
Matt
this movie.
Damon's star.
Yes. And there's a scene when the Jordans are there, and they're meeting with Nike. This is after they met with Converse, and they met with Adidas, and then they're flying all the way out to Oregon to meet with Nike, who at the time, again, was not a big basketball company. I think it says at the beginning of the movie their market share was like 18%. And
I don't know what that means.
Their share of the market was 18%.
That sounds big.
Well, no, not really.
Yeah.
Because like Converse market share was like 50-something%.
Oh.
So they didn't have as much.
It was double.
So bad math. So they have the Jordans in the conference room, and they have their like pre-game strategy meeting where they're like, all right, and then Phil, you're going to come in, and it's going to act like you're really busy.
Yeah, you're going to come in late because you're going to pretend like you're really busy.
And it's one of those whole business school things where they're like planning out all the casual things that happen. And Affleck comes in, and it's the only time when Phil Knight is not cool and collected and composed. He's frazzled. He's like, "I'm sorry, I'm the CEO. I'm very important. It's the fact that I'm here." Yeah. Is a very important thing. And I'm just like, oh my God, he's such a fucking goof. Yeah. I love it so much. I think it's a top-notch performance. I think it's just a great movie. It's a good movie. It's a very positive, feel-good movie.
It's just business is so...
And they make fun of Adidas for being Nazis.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
They're going to get away with that.
Well, his name was Adolf.
Yeah, but then they were like... even doing like Adolf Hitler impressions of Adolf.
Yeah.
Being like, this is what you're going to run into when you go and talk to Adidas.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow.
Pretty great. Matt Damon's fantastic. And also one of the guys that plays the...
My Adidas.
Yeah.
That was a good song.
The amount of needle drops in this movie. I don't think... And it's something that I noticed the first time I watched this movie when it came out.
Big Country was played.
Yeah. Well, there was a needle drop like every scene. I don't think there was a piece of orchestral music in this entire movie. I think it was all just...
Big Country. The song Big Country from the band Big Country on the album... Big Country was in it.
Was it that Big Country?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
That makes sense. A couple other standout performances for me. Like I said, one of the Nazis was played by Gustav Skarsgård, the lesser known of the Skarsgårds.
One of the Nazis?
One of the people from Adidas. One of the Nazis. And also Matthew Marr, who plays Peter Moore. Peter Moore is the guy that really designed the shoe.
Yeah.
And he is just as great.
Another confusing thing that I don't like.
What?
And it's not the movie's fault, but the NBA being like, you can't have like 51% red.
Genius marketing. So in the
Why
NBA,
is the NBA being like, no?
Because back then you had to have the NBA was still. If you want to talk about white people behind the scenes, it was the NBA still trying to be. This is a nice game, and we're not going to have all sorts of flashy characters and stuff like that. And your shoe has to be 51% white.
That is so funny.
Genius move by Nike. They said we'll pay your fine.
I mean, that's
for every game.
Sick move. Yeah.
So and they did that until the point where the NBA was just like, yeah, okay, well. We're not going to fine you anymore.
I would just keep letting them fine me. Cha-ching!
Yeah, Terrell Owens for the...
But then you probably just get bad.
You know who Terrell Owens is?
Cinco Ocho?
No, that's Chad Johnson. Chad Ochocinco. Terrell Owens, T.O.
Yeah.
Same vibe. But he had custom-made cleats, and the NFL was just like, yeah, we're going to fine you for wearing those. And he brought a duffel bag filled with cash to pay the fine for his custom cleats.
Oy.
It's just, it's all Michael Jordan stuff. And another standout performer was Chris Messina as David Falk, the agent, who's just he's Michael Jordan's agent. And he's just a good...
I don't have any friends. I got money. When I retire, I'm going to retire in a big house with no friends.
I like that guy.
He's pretty funny.
Good classic 80s business guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this movie. I thought it was great. So...
It's a fine movie. It's a good movie.
So, in... our grading system.
2.
2 plus?
2.
Just so this is your great performances, well made.
If this is a movie that's going to interest you, you'll probably really like it.
Yeah.
I went in knowing that this was a movie about shoes, and I walked out.
I'd like to think it's a movie about people.
Understanding that this is a movie about a shoe. And it's an interesting shoe.
It's a good shoe.
And I like that shoe.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
All right, I'll take a 2. I'll take it 2. And Ben Affleck directed it. So
please, no more business movies.
Another good. I don't think there's been a single Ben Affleck directed movie you haven't liked.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think. Did I give a 1 to anything yet?
Did you give Reindeer Games a 1?
No.
That was a 2, probably.
Pretty sure I gave that a 2.
Yeah,
a strong 2.
I don't think so. I don't think we're going to have any 1s.
We should really write this stuff down.
Well, at one point we were keeping score, and then
we don't even bring it up anymore.
Yeah, and then for a couple weeks we made a joke that the score was the same.
Couple weeks.
It was a good while
for the majority of the show.
I think
it's run.
It went longer of us saying that it was. What was it? 55 to 54. We still got the scoreboard. It went longer of us saying that again, and one person noticed.
Two people.
And then we just stopped doing it all together because the points don't really matter. It's like, whose line is it anyway?
Yeah, it's just a way to gauge.
Yeah,
our understanding. Yeah.
I think the ethos of the scoring system is more important than the actual score.
I agree.
Yeah, so that's a 2. Yeah. Easy 2. I'll take it. First week of All Affleck April. It gets better. Don't you even worry
I think I even gave Daredevil a 2. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did.
Because I made you watch the director's cut. Yeah. It's good.
And I had more Coolio. And you're like, you cut out all the Coolio?
And it was the best part of the movie.
Yeah,
it was like the legal drama part of Daredevil.
Yeah, like the whole Foggy Nelson stuff is gone.
Yeah, Favreau's great in that movie.
Let's go back.
You want to watch Daredevil director's cut again?
You better recommend that again.
Jake, come on.
You're going to be Electra. I would be so mad.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into Jake's recommendation for me. New stand-up comedy special available to stream on Netflix, Hot Cross Buns by, I'll say, one of the greatest comedians.
Yeah.
One of the greatest living joke writers.
Definitely my Mount Rushmore of comedians.
Mr. Dave Attell. Dave Attell, if you don't know, just fucking get your head out of your ass. I don't know what to tell you.
Check them out. Honestly, just look them up.
Here's one of the things. First of all, obviously it's a 3.
Yeah.
I think it's some of his best work.
And it was something that I just was really looking forward to us talking about.
I was going to watch this anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and now I've watched it twice and listened to it one time.
Hell yeah.
Things I love about this special. One, it's Dave Attell.
Yeah.
Dave Attell is, I think, when you talk about something gets thrown around a lot, it's like, oh, he's a ball player's ball player or something like that.
A comedian's comedian,
right?
Type
He's
thing.
An actor's actor. Like when people say that about Attell, he's a comedian's comedian. Mm-hmm. He is, and he is one of the most humble people. He's been doing a podcast tour. Just getting on a whole bunch of different comedy podcasts.
I saw like a super cut of some of his interactions with people.
So he did a couple that I listened to. I didn't listen to him on Rogan. I listened to him on a great podcast called Are You Garbage? And it's just two great comics actually talking to people about how they grew up and stuff to see if they grew up to be a garbage person or not. Mm-hmm. And he's on that. He's a very humble guy. He was on Whiskey Ginger with Andrew Santino, and I've listened to him on a couple other things. Just one of the most down-to-earth people with this massive amount of talent I've ever seen. And he refers to himself just as a club comic.
He says he can't play in arenas. He doesn't want to.
And I don't think he needs to. I mean, obviously, I wish him nothing but the best success in everything he does.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of him. Did you watch... How'd you get introduced? Was it Insomniac?
Yeah.
Insomniac.
I went back and I'm watching Insomniac again.
Really? Where's Insomniac? Do you have it on like DVD or
DVD,
something?
baby!
I remember his episode in Anchorage, Alaska.
My brother has it on DVD, so I now have it on DVD.
Yeah. So that's how I got introduced to him as well, was on Insomniac, which was one of...
His TV show on Comedy Central.
It was Drunk No Reservations.
It was a travel show where...
He would do a show and then he'd stay up all night in whatever the city was.
I'm loving it just because 1 second he's just getting drunk at a bar talking to a crazy person, and the next moment he's in the back of a pickup truck shooting at varmints with these 3 guys.
That was the Nutria. I believe that was the New Orleans episode.
It was so good.
I think I had the whole series on DVD at some point. Good. I would not be surprised if that series on DVD wasn't somewhere in this basement.
Yeah.
But his first big album, Skanks for the Memories, I had that in my car at all times. It was an album that I listened to so much I could recite it like I was singing along to a song.
Yeah.
He has one of my favorite jokes of all time, which is from Skanks for the Memories, where he says, the whole joke is, you remember when you were a kid and you thought your dad was Superman, then you grew up and realized he's just some drunk in a cape? It's a perfect joke. There's not an ounce of fat on that joke. But he is just completely unapologetic. Yeah. He's just funny. It's just nonstop joke. And I listened to him in
his non sequiturs are some of the best things. Huh. He'll tell a joke that he'll do the, you think your dad's Superman is just drunk in a cape, and then he'll just say, I guess what I'm trying to say is I want to have a baby.
And the fact that he doesn't have many specials. So did you go see the special he filmed in DC with me?
No.
Okay. No. So it was back when I was doing stuff at the Improv in DC. I got tickets. He filmed at the Lincoln Theater. I think it was the Lincoln Theater. Captain Miserable.
Not the Improv, huh?
No, he filmed it at the Lincoln Theater because I think it was for Showtime.
Damn.
And he recorded 2 shows. I got tickets to one of the shows. Outstanding stand-up special. It didn't have the same feel as Skanks for the Memories.
Yeah. And
he is a club comic because he's very engaged with the audience. Not in like a crowd worky, like he's not Matt Rife being like, oh, what's your deal?
Intimate comedian where the proximity kind of helps, as in the social boundaries. He feels literally closer in relationship to you in a club setting than like he's not like Queen where you like worship him because he's great.
Queen?
Yeah. Where you like go to an arena to see Queen with 10,000 other people.
Right.
You're not going to do that with Dave Attell. You go to a club to see him.
Yeah.
With 100 other diehard fans of Dave Attell.
Yeah.
And all of us are laughing our ass off.
He's the best punk rock band version of comedy, where it's just like, this guy's been at it for so many years and he hasn't missed a step. Like,
an undeniable talent. Yeah.
This special is crazy how good it is.
It felt so good. We talked last week about the nostalgia factor from the X-Men, And like this one just like washed over me. I was like, I miss this guy so much.
It's nice hearing him talk.
It's nice just to see that cadence come back.
And I'm sure you are a big fan of his Showtime show, Dave's Old Porn.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Has one of the largest vintage porn collections.
Yeah, on VHS, and he'd watch it with porn stars.
Yeah.
Just a fun little show.
Great idea for a show.
Oh, my gosh.
In one of the interviews I listened to him, he said that someone told him that he had the largest porn collection this side of the Mississippi, and his first question was, who's the guy on the other side? And we should shake hands crossing the bridge. Just the kind of person he is. Like, and there are so many comedians, like, as a big consumer of stand-up comedy like I am, the way this special is shot, too, it's 40 minutes. And there's even a bit at the end where he's like, Netflix says this has to be longer, and it just cuts to him playing a recorder on the pier for like 2 minutes and 37 seconds.
Man, is it good.
And
what I didn't catch is in the promotional stuff, there's a part where he's at the pier and he's naming seals.
Yeah.
And that's an episode of Insomniac.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. When he's at the San Francisco Bay, he's out there in the morning when everybody's waking up, and he's just at the pier, and there's just a whole bunch of seals out there. And he's like, I'm going to name you Adorable because that's what you are. And it's like, oh my gosh, he's doing a whole round thing.
Yeah.
It's just, he's incredible.
Yeah.
He's super duper funny.
Yes, and he's just one of those he's everything a comedian should be. He's just, it's no nonsense. He's been in a bunch of things, like he did you ever see Bumpin' Mike's, the special he did?
He did it with
Jeff Ross.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch it. But
It's good. It's not Dave Attell.
No
It's
doubt.
more crowd work and stuff like that, and he plays off of Jeff Ross really well.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have, he's never been the guy like Louis C.K., for a while before he ran into his own issues, was putting out a special every year, which were all good materials. I don't think the quality of those, went down. Sometimes when artists try to do quantity over quality, it
you play
down.
to the time. Yeah.
Ludacris ran into this for a while. He put out an album every year for a while, and some of those albums weren't great. Release Therapy wasn't his best. It was No Chicken and Beer, but I digress. So Attell, he's been talked about. He probably has 5 specials worth of stuff that he just did in clubs, and then it's just gone. He never recorded it. It's probably on some tape
phone.
recorder.
Yeah.
Yes, he probably has the recordings of it, and I'm sure that at some point we'll have.
Is it going to be like Prince, where we have to go into his vault?
Well, I mean, hell, Mitch Hedberg had a special he had recorded that came out posthumously. Not that I'm hoping anything bad happens to Dave Attell.
Yeah.
But he could probably release, if he put out a vinyl set of like 4 albums, it's like, these are specials that I recorded, kinda.
Yeah.
They're just long sets that I have recorded. I'd buy that in a friggin' heartbeat.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're diehard. That's the difference, is we've been into Dave Attell, from the get-go. Right. As soon as we saw him.
Yeah.
We got his vibe and we were down.
And I think he hit us at the right time. High school, hearing Dave Attell, you're just like, this guy is my favorite person. He's making jokes about boobs, and he's going out drinking, and he's smoking cigarettes, and he's just a crazy
He's
cool
hanging
guy.
out with drag queens before it was a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
He was just out there every night going to weird clubs where you just meet weird people, but they're his people.
That's the dream.
It's honestly the dream.
It was pretty much like a no reservation style show.
Yeah.
But it was just top notch.
And
top
it's
tier.
just crazy. My favorite joke from the new thing is when he's like, went to the Subway, and it was just me and the sandwich artists. And I went, oh man, it's just me and you. Take the gloves off. Raw dog it.
I played one clip for my mom, which was his joke when he said, I'm a good son. I love my mom. I built her a ramp. It was time she came back inside. Just dumb nonsense like that. But
for
it's just
40 minutes.
the most pure form of comedy.
Yeah.
Another comedy special, I should have sent you this to see if you wanted to watch it ahead of time. But Dimitri Martin put out a new special this week, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild.
It's very meta. It's like, it's called, I think it's called Deconstructed. But it's very Dimitri Martin. It's very on. Are you a Dimitri Martin fan?
Yeah, it's been a long, long time. The last time I heard about Dimitri Martin was when Mark Maron was on the Doug Loves Movie podcast. And
I feel like Mark Maron would be insufferable with ridiculously high people.
he talks so much, but it was so funny because he was talking about how when he was starting doing stand-up, he was like, I just remember this one kid that just came up on a skateboard and he had an easel with him. And everybody starts bursting out laughing because they knew he was talking about Dimitri Martin. But he thought Dimitri Martin wasn't anybody anymore.
Right. Yeah, Dimitri Martin, his new special is great, and he's just another...
That's amazing.
It's called Dimitri Deconstructed. It's also on Netflix. Netflix has got some bangers coming out this month. Like, I probably could have done a full stand-up comedy month. Neil Brennan has a new special coming out called Crazy Good.
That's fantastic. He's one of the best.
Neil Brennan is one of the funniest people that's ever lived, too. But he'll also tell you Dave Attell's one of the best joke writers ever.
Yeah.
Have you ever listened to another person that we've met in real life, Doug Stanhope? He has stories about Attell, that Attell will call him while he's writing jokes to see if anyone has done a joke like this before.
Yeah. No, I didn't know about that.
Like, Stanhope had this story where he's like, Attell will call him, and he'd just be like, hey, does anyone have a thing about unicorns taking dumps? It's like, no? Good. And then he just hangs up the phone. Just dumb stuff. My favorite joke on the new Dimitri Martin special, just 3 words, and then he's just quiet for a minute. He just goes, horses have mullets.
Weird.
And he just lets people kind of sit in that realization for a while, and everyone just kind of goes, oh, yeah, I guess they do have mullets.
Huh. I'm going to have to try. I'm wondering.
It's
been a long time since I've checked out Dimitri Martin.
Do it. I would say that's a side rec. Dimitri Martin, Dimitri Deconstructed on Netflix. But definitely watch Dave Attell,
Definitely watch Hot Cross Buns. That's something that...
And it's 40 minutes.
It's like the Eclipse. It's probably not going to happen until one of us have babies.
Oh, shit. I forgot. I got these for you.
Holy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Eclipse glasses.
Oh, he just handed me Eclipse glasses.
Yeah. I forgot I had them down here.
Mamacita.
Should we try them on? This is great for an audio medium.
Oh, my gosh.
So
I can't see you at all. I can't believe it.
I don't know if these are... Okay, so...
Yeah, they work. Yeah.
Look up the light up there.
Dude, yeah, you can see the light, but you can't see the... It doesn't burn your eyes.
I'll say this. I think this is just a garbage bag.
That's quite possible.
This is just a hefty.
I'm so excited. That's great.
Yeah, we have an Eclipse coming up.
Fantastic, man.
Yeah, I got a 6-pack of Eclipse glasses.
Good job.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate you, man.
So, yeah, we could watch the Eclipse. We could talk about Eclipse stuff.
I'm excited. I'll be at work. I'm just going to walk right outside to the parking lot.
Excuse me. Yep. I got to go look
Whatever's
at the sun.
happening.
You remember when the last president looked up at the sun during the eclipse? Objectively a funny thing to do.
Very funny. Very funny.
Just that, I love that picture of him just
squinting.
Oh,
man, is that an infuriating photo.
If for some reason he ever takes over the government and gets minted into coinage, I want that to be like the 25-cent piece of him just pointing at an eclipse.
Oh,
God, there's some fun conspiracy theories around that, too.
They'll celebrate the man that could stare at the sun.
Have you seen any of the conspiracy theories?
No.
Someone's saying that since the eclipse, when was it, like 6 years ago that we had the last eclipse in North America?
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Went like northwest to southeast, and this one's going
kind of
southwest to northeast.
Yes.
It's like, oh, really? So it's a perfect sphere, and now the sun's going different ways. Okay, sure. It's like, the flat earthers have entered the chat, and I'm all about it.
It's so hard to tell them that the earth is round.
No, but it's so great. It's a hill to die on that has no one looking at you.
It's like simple physics tells you.
Yes.
And it's like
oh, honey, it's math. I don't know what to tell you.
It's like watch a ship go across the ocean. It's like you'll see it disappear from bottom to top. You'll see the mast. That's why they knew.
Speaking of physics, have you watched any more of Three Body Problem?
I have not.
No, you gotta get on it, man.
I mean, I've been watching Insomniac.
That's fair. Insomniac and X-Men, just kind of feeling yourself.
I watched a new episode of X-Men, though, episode 3.
Oh, episode 3 with Clone Jean Grey, Madeline Pryor.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Yeah, it was
I haven't
really
watched
good
the one that came out today, but...
Oh, I didn't know that was one.
It's every Wednesday or every Thursday.
I have no clue.
Yeah.
I wait until the internet starts talking about it, and I'm like, here's another episode, and then I go and watch it.
Still good, though. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. Be sure to... I forgot to tell people to like and subscribe at the beginning.
Well, do it now.
Do it now. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Please tell your friends about the show. If you want to get in contact with us, you can do that to send your email to upyouralleypod@gmail.com. If you have anything you want to add to All Affleck April, feel free to do that. But let's figure out what we're going to be talking about next week. Jake, what you got for me?
So, I actually want you to listen to an audiobook.
Gotcha.
It's on Spotify. And it's called The Courage to Be Disliked by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitake Koga.
Okay.
And it's a very interesting self-help book, but it's more about Adlerian philosophy.
Adlerian philosophy? I don't know about that form.
It's kind of like the opposite of Freudian philosophy. Where Freud says that what you've done, what's happened to you in the past creates who you are now.
Right.
They're saying that who you are now will define your future self. So you can be your future self now type of thing.
Oh, boy.
Philosophy.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I've been dick deep in Stoicism for the past, 6 months. And
yeah, Stoicism's a good one.
I love that stuff. So, yeah, and that's another fun thing. That's our first, I think, audiobook that we've recommended on Spotify. We post this. We're hosted through Spotify. And if you have Spotify Premium, you get a whole bunch of free access to free audiobooks.
Like 50 hours a month or something like that?
Yeah, more than you could want for. A king's ransom worth of audiobooks. So, yeah, The Courage to Be Disliked, How to Free Yourself and Change Your Life. All right, I'll check that out. Jake, week 2 of All Affleck April.
It's got Ben Affleck in it.
It does have Ben Affleck in it. What if I would tell you that this one was written by Ben Affleck?
I'm going to think.
What if I would tell you that it was also co-written with by Nicole Holofcener and a young man named Matthew Damon?
Is this Good Will Hunting?
No, it's not. That was just Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
Oh.
So this is the story of Jean de Carouge and Jacques Legris. Jean de Carouge, played by Matt Damon, and Jacques Legris, played by Adam Driver, starring in Ridley Scott's The Last Duel.
I don't know what any of this is. This is the craziest thing. This craziest thing.
This came out in 2021.
I know literally everybody that you're talking about.
Yeah.
None of this is registering to me as a thing.
So it's based on the story, The Last Duel, a story of crime, scandal, and trial by combat in medieval France. So this is set in the 1300s in France. I will say this.
Napoleon makes a cameo.
No, you're so bad at history. Napoleon was 400 years after this.
Oh, so there'll be a baby Napoleon, and they'll be like, what do you name this baby? And they'll be like, I name it Napoleon.
Because the French lived for 500 years, as we all know.
They're elfish.
So you don't know anything about this.
This is crazy.
So Matt Damon and...
When you tell me that Matt Damon and Adam Driver are in a movie, I really thought this was going to be about race cars.
No, it's not Ferrari.
This is amazing.
There was Ferrari, and Matt Damon was in Ford versus Ferrari, but they weren't in a Ferrari movie together.
And then Adam Driver was in...
Ferrari.
Ferrari?
Yeah, but Matt Damon was in Ford versus Ferrari. He was on the Ford side of that equation.
Did you know there's a movie about Lamborghinis?
Is there?
Yeah.
They just throw that on there?
Yeah, apparently it's really bad.
I can imagine.
It's kind of like what's...
Is it just a bunch of people saying, like, hey, you want to tell people you're a dickhead without having to?
It's like...
Buy this Lamborghini.
It's like Asylum films where... You make a Transformers movies. There's like a Transmorphers.
Is it
and
really?
They're like, we could capitalize this. We got Lamborghini. We could do this. I gotta see it.
We got the rights to
whatever
Lamborghini's first name was. I'm going to say Gucci.
I don't know.
Gucci Lamborghini was his name.
Murcielago.
So this takes place after the Caroline War. God.
Princess Caroline?
No. Nope.
Sweet Caroline, ba ba ba.
That's what it is. So that's
good
available.
Times never felt so good.
I'm going to listen to The Courage to Be Disliked.
Yeah.
Available on Spotify. The Last Duel is available to stream on Hulu.
Okay, cool.
So that is directed by Ridley Scott. Ben Affleck wrote this movie along with his buddy Matt Damon and Nicole Holofcener. So we're going to talk about The Last Duel. We're going to talk about The Courage to Be Disliked. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Jake, thanks for coming over. Love you, buddy.
I love you, buddy.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.